Do I understand what marriage is? Do I understand the commitment it requires? That is a big part of preparing to be a wife. Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to share with you guys today. As always, I just have so much fun filming these videos, and as you can see from the title of the video, I'm going to be sharing today about how I prepare to be a wife. So stay tuned, you guys. So this is a story. When I was 19 years old, I started to pray about becoming a wife. I started to have the desire to be a wife. I honestly don't really know where it came from. I just know that I started to feel this desire to be a wife. I'd previously had relationships, guys, but it wasn't anything serious to say the least. And I'd recently just recommitted my life to Christ, and I was like, all right, God, I don't want to waste my time with anybody. I just want to settle down, and I just want to be with someone who is committed, who loves the Lord, and who wants to go on a journey with me. And that is how it all started, y'all. That is another story that I will share in another video about how I met my husband, how we reconnected, and all of the above. Well, as I stated before, I started to feel the desire to be a wife. And so I was like, okay, how will I prepare to be a wife? First thing, I was like, am I even ready to be a wife? That is one of the first questions I asked myself. And I said, are you ready to be a wife? You're over here talking about you want to be a wife. Do you know what it takes to be a wife, girl? You don't. But that is the reason why you prepare, because you don't know how to be a wife. Even guys, after the preparation, there's still things that you will not know, and that is absolutely okay. Do not feel discouraged that you don't know certain things, because the truth is you won't be able to fully prepare to be a wife. Like, nobody can fully prepare you to be a wife. Trust and believe. Trust and believe. But I was like, am I ready to be a wife? And I think I answered yes. I mean, obviously I answered yes, I'm married. I answered yes, I'm ready to be a wife. Why do I want to be a wife? I saw marriage as this beautiful institution, one in which I could grow with someone and I could advance the kingdom of God. And for me, I was like, yep, I'm ready. I'm not interested in doing the whole dating constantly thing. That was just never really me to begin with. I had relationships before, but I wanted to commit. I wanted to be with someone who was serious about the journey that I could actually grow with. So yeah, I was ready to be a wife. So ask yourselves that question, are you ready to be a wife? The next thing I did to prepare to be a wife was I started to introspect. I was like, what are the things about me that I need to change? And I think that is so important for us to do, because a lot of us, myself included, will write a whole list asking God for all of these things we want in a husband, but we have not addressed the things in us that we will need to change to be a wife to that very husband that we are writing about. I think it's so important to introspect and ask yourselves, what is it about me that needs to change? Mind you, when I did that, I mean, there was a lot of things about me that needed to change. And again, it doesn't mean that you are going to change everything and that you're gonna have it all figured out. What I think it gives you is a sense of self-awareness to be like, okay, these are the things about me that I need to change. These are the things about me that I've had issues with in previous relationships, or in just my friendships, or my relationships with my family. What are the things in you? And one of the things with me that I found out was that I was very confrontational. I was able to identify that thing in me, like, okay, this is something that's gonna be an issue. This is something that I've had issues with in the past, that I'm so confrontational, I don't really think twice about it, and I need to address that issue. This is not to say again that it changed. What it helped me to do was to recognize that there are things about me that need to change. And the question was, am I willing to change? That is a hard one. Change is not easy, but are you willing to change? And you have to be able to answer that question with a strong yes in your preparation to be a wife. Because going up into a marriage and being like, I don't want to change, you can't change me, that's not gonna work. You cannot be resistant to change in a marriage. You're both gonna need to change. There are things that your spouse is not gonna like that you are going to have to change. So listen guys, in your preparation to be a wife, definitely ask yourself some hard questions. I think that is the big thing. Ask yourself some hard questions. Am I ready? Am I willing to change? You know, is this something I really want? Do I understand what marriage is? Do I understand the commitment it requires? That is a big part of preparing to be a wife, asking those super hard questions. It might not be yes at that moment, but you must be able to come to a yes at some point, because you're gonna need to answer yes to most of those questions. The next thing I did to prepare to be a wife was to look for resources. Guys, I legit went on YouTube and I was like typing up preparing to be a wife, just literally preparing to be a wife. I didn't know what exactly to search for, and that is what I came up with. So as simple as Googling preparing to be a wife. But you also want to be mindful of the sources that you're taking that information from, depending on what your values are. If you are someone who desires a God-centered marriage, which I strongly promote, you want to find resources that are promoting godly marriage and that is telling you how to be a godly wife. And I was able to find webinars and videos and a whole channel of people talking about how to prepare to be a wife, how to prepare to be married, all of these different preparation things, and it was just amazing. I was like, yes, this is what I need. And it just convicted me even more, like, I really want to be a wife. I can feel it. I am energized. I am so ready for this. So finding resources that will help you, you know, from people who are already married is super important in your preparation to be a wife. And it really helped me on that journey. Next thing I'd say I did was I went counseling. So this is very interesting, y'all. So most people do premarital counseling, you know, after they get engaged. However, myself and my husband decided to do premarital counseling before we got engaged. And I'm gonna tell you why. We decided to do that because we felt it was necessary for us to have an objective person, someone who would be able to say, okay, you guys are doing this for the right reasons. You guys want to be married for the right reasons. And the thing is, if you look around right now, there are so many people getting married. I mean, there's so many millennials getting married right now. And in my honest opinion, I don't think everybody understands what they're getting themselves into. I think this whole show on like Instagram and all of these different platforms of people getting engaged and these couple goals and all of that can be very misleading. And not everybody goes into it understanding that this is a long-term thing. Like, divorce is not an option for me, and I need to understand that this person that I'm going to say yes to also is on the same page as me. And we both knew we wanted to be married, but in preparing to be a wife, I needed to have someone impartial in that counseling session to say, okay, you are ready, or you have the right mindset. I needed that affirmation to really help me to walk towards what we wanted, and that was to be married. And we got counseling right up until we got married, and it was so good. I ended up doing even individual counseling. In those sessions, my counselor started to help me unpack things in me that was reflecting in certain ways in my relationship, and that would have been a big problem going forward. And so for me, counseling really helped me to put a lot of things into perspective. It helped me to understand what my role is as a wife and what it's going to be. We did a lot of worksheets, we did a lot of things and activities, and it really helped us to ask ourselves those questions that we just never thought of. It was amazing. It was really amazing. Big up Dr. Carla Dunbar. She was our counselor. And if you are in Jamaica, I highly recommend her for premarital counseling. She's amazing. Counseling really helped me to shed some perspective on who I wanted to be as a wife and the things that I needed to work through. And it's not to say, and I'm going to stress this point, it's not to say that these things won't come up in your relationship. It helped me to better prepare mentally and emotionally for the things I was going to face in my marriage. Does it mean I was fully equipped? No. Does it mean that anybody can really prepare you? I don't think so. I think it's one of those things where you learn through the experience, and I learned through my experience. But preparing was so important. So I would highly recommend not skipping premarital counseling. I know some people are very much against it. So I've heard comments like, people can't tell me who I am, nobody can tell me about my relationship like me, you are not in my relationship so you don't know. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. My thing is, these people are trained to see things that you cannot see. And so it helps you to really unpack certain things and give you a perspective that you may never have had. Do not skip that process. It is very important in your preparation to be a wife. Counseling was one of the things that truly helped me to prepare to be a wife. The next thing I did to prepare to be a wife was I prayed. Y'all, I prayed and I prayed some more. Because it's a big decision, getting married, preparing to be a wife. It's like the pressure of I'm gonna be a wife. Like, oh my gosh, it's such a big step in your life and you want it to work out. You know, for me, divorce was not an option. I definitely wanted a long-lasting, committed relationship with my spouse. And I was like, I'm nervous. I really want this to work. I continue to pray over my role as a wife. I continue to pray that I will excel as a wife. I continue to pray that God will give me the wisdom, the strength, the understanding, all the things I need to be a good wife. Prayer goes a long way. It goes a really long way. So pray over your future husband. Pray over your role as a wife. Tell God what you want to be as a wife. What I found out in my journey in preparing to be a wife, that there's something about your works and your faith. I started to prepare to be a wife before my husband even came. Before we even reconnected. I feel like I started a journey like in March 2016 was when I really had that inkling or that desire, like I want to be a wife, but the next person that comes need to be serious. And I reconnected with my husband in June. So when he rolled around, I was like, I mean, we were friends for a while before we actually started dating after we reconnected. I wasn't sure he was my husband, but I was preparing. And as we talked more and more, I realized like, oh my gosh, this is the person. But I think there's something about just preparation. There's a quote that says preparation meets opportunity. And I truly believe that in everything you have to prepare. Just like when we go to school and we have an exam, or we're trying to complete a course, we have to prepare to take the exam to get an A, to say yes, we've completed this course. It's the same thing with preparing to be a wife. If you want to have a successful marriage, if you want to be successful at being a wife, because again, you don't just know how to be a wife, you have to learn how to be a wife. You have to prepare. I strongly believe that everybody who wants to be a wife must be intentional about preparing to be a wife. It truly pays off. And again, it does not mean that you will not have issues. You will. I am telling you from now, you will have issues. You're gonna have turbulence in your marriage sometimes. It's completely normal. You have differences, you're gonna clash. All of these things are gonna happen. In your preparation to be a wife, it gives you that mental capacity to be like, okay, this is something actually wanting. Something that didn't just fall down into my lap. This is something I prepared for. And in that preparation, it kind of makes you commit more to the journey, I think. If you are preparing to be a wife, I highly recommend, asking yourself those hard questions, getting counseling, definitely seeking the resources online, finding people who are married, people who you think can give you the best advice about preparing to be a wife, and praying, pray about it and pray about it some more, because prayer cannot be too much. Trust God, trust the process, and read books. That's something I didn't do as much that I wish I did. If you are a big reader, read books. I mean, I've read books now that I'm married, but I didn't read as many. I read like short stuff. I didn't read any book, like solid book. But there are so many books out there that you can read about preparing to be a wife. Find them, read them, and take notes. In preparing to be a wife, you may choose to do different things. And, if you're preparing to be a wife, you may not be ready now. You may not be ready next year. It could be just 5 years from now or 10 years from now. There's no pressure, because it's when you're comfortable and when God sends that person for you. But you can never start preparing too early. I strongly believe that, because it helps you to be your best when you get to that stage. So I really hope my experience of how I prepare to be a wife helps someone today. If you are in the preparation journey, I wish you all the best. And if you have any questions, definitely you can link me up on Instagram, or you can email me. My email will be in the description box below, or leave a comment below. If you are preparing to be a wife, let me know how you're preparing. And if you are already married, let us know how you prepare to be a wife, so that the wives to be can get some more insight. Guys, thank you so much for watching my video. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and definitely subscribe to my channel below. Hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any videos from me. I will be posting every week. Thank you guys so much for watching.